Today, snow falls steadily over the medieval village as you leave the market behind and make your way home. The familiar warmth of your cottage waiting quietly beyond the settling white. The path leading away from the square has already begun to soften beneath a thin layer of fresh snow, muting the sound of your steps as you pass shuttered stalls and darkened doorways. What was lively earlier in the day now feels hushed, as though the village itself has chosen to rest. Canvas awnings are tied down, baskets have been carried inside, and the open space where voices once mingled now lies calm beneath the dimming sky. The air is cool and clean, carrying the faint scent of wood smoke that drifts from scattered chimneys. Each breath feels slow and unhurried, the cold never sharp, only present. Snow gathers along the edges of the road and settles gently on the sloping roofs, smoothing the angles of stone and timber into softer shapes. Lantern light flickers behind small windows, glowing briefly as you pass, then fading again into the quiet. As you move farther from the center of the village, the sounds grow fewer. The distant creak of a sign swaying in the wind fades behind you, replaced by the soft whisper of falling snow and the occasional low crackle from a nearby hearth. The world seems to narrow, drawing your attention inward, guiding you along a route you know well. Your cottage appears ahead, modest and familiar, its thatched roof capped with white and its windows glowing warmly against the growing dusk. A thin line of smoke curls upward from the chimney, steady and reassuring. The sight of it brings an easy sense of relief, the kind that comes not from urgency, but from knowing you are nearly where you belong. You reach the door and brush the snow from your sleeves before stepping inside. The wooden door closes behind you with a soft, solid sound, sealing out the cold and leaving the winter beyond its threshold. At once, the warmth of the cottage surrounds you, gentle and even, as though it has been waiting patiently for your return. The hearth sits opposite the door, its fire already burning low and steady. Orange light moves across the stone floor and climbs the walls, catching on wooden beams darkened with age. The fire does not crackle loudly. Instead, it offers a quiet presence, glowing and constant, its warmth spreading slowly through the room. You pause for a moment, allowing the stillness to settle. The cottage feels calm and contained, every object in its place. A simple table stands near the wall, its surface worn smooth by years of use. A bench rests beside it, tucked close as though conserving space and warmth. Shelves hold a few clay vessels and folded cloths, each item familiar, each one contributing to the quiet order of the room. The light here is soft, shaped by flame rather than flame demanding attention. Shadows gather gently in the corners, never deep, never unsettling. The outside world feels distant now, reduced to a faint awareness of wind passing along the walls and snow continuing its steady fall. You move closer to the hearth, not in haste, but with the ease of routine. The stone near the fire holds warmth from hours past, and the air nearby feels comfortable against your skin. As you settle into a nearby chair, the day's movement begins to release its hold, leaving behind a sense of ease. The chair creaks faintly as you sit, and grows still. From here, you can see the fire clearly, its slow rhythm unchanging. Flames rise and fold back into themselves, their motion calm and predictable. The fire does not demand tending just yet. It is content, and so it seems, are you. Beyond the small window, snow continues to drift downward, though its presence is now little more than a suggestion. Frost gathers along the glass, tracing delicate patterns that catch the firelight. The world outside has narrowed to light and shadow, motion softened by distance and shelter. Inside the cottage, the warmth deepens gradually. The cold that lingered at the edges of your awareness begins to fade, replaced by a comfortable heaviness. The air carries the faint scent of burning wood and dried herbs hung along a beam above. their fragrance subtle and grounding. Nothing presses for attention. There is no task waiting, no sound calling you away from this moment. The market, the path, and the falling snow have led to what feels like a satisfying state of events, as though the day has reached a natural pause. Time slows here, measured not in hours, but in the steady glow of the hearth and the quiet assurance of being home. As the fire continues its gentle work, the cottage holds you in its warmth, the evening stretching ahead unhurried and calm, while winter remains outside, softened by walls, distance, and the promise of rest. The fire continues its quiet work, steady and unassuming, and with the cottage fully settled around you, there is a gentle sense that the evening has opened into a long, unhurried stretch of time. Nothing waits to interrupt it. The silence feels complete enough to hold movement without disturbance, and you find yourself rising from your chair, not because you must, but because the rhythm of the space invites it. You step lightly across the stone floor, aware of the warmth lingering near the hearth, and the cooler air farther from it. The contrast feels pleasant, grounding. Near the fire, a small bundle of split wood rests in a basket, each piece dry and pale where it has been cut. You choose one and place it carefully among the embers, adjusting it only slightly, so the fire accepts it without protest. The flames respond with a brief lift, then settle again. The sound of the fire remains soft, more a presence than a noise. It feels like something that can be trusted to continue without constant attention. Satisfied, you turn away and let it be. Hanging near the hearth is an iron hook, and from it you lift down a small pot, its surface cool and faintly rough beneath your fingers. You carry it to the table and set it down gently, the hollow sound brief and contained. Nearby, a clay pitcher holds water drawn earlier in the day. You pour just enough into the pot, listening as it settles, then carry both back toward the fire. From a shelf along the wall, you take a small sack of grain, its weight familiar. You loosen the tie and measure out a modest amount, letting it fall into the pot in a soft, steady stream. The grains disappear beneath the water without ceremony. A bundle of dried herbs follows. Nothing strong, only those meant to add aroma and flavor. You crumble them between your fingers before adding them, releasing a quiet, earthy scent that drifts briefly through the air. You hang the pot over the fire, adjusting the hook so it rests at a comfortable distance from the flames. There is no need to hurry it. The fire's warmth will rise gradually, and the pot will respond in its own time. You stir once, slowly, then leave it, trusting the balance you've set. With the meal beginning its patient work, you move toward the table again. Its surface bears the marks of years of use, softened edges and faint lines that catch the light when you pass your hand across them. You brush away a trace of dust and smooth a folded cloth over the wood, tugging it just enough so it lies flat without effort. From another shelf, you retrieve a small knife and a loaf wrapped in linen. The bread is dense and simple, meant to last. You cut it carefully, each slice deliberate, the sound muted and reassuring. The pieces are placed on a small board at the center of the table, ready without being arranged for appearance. The pot over the fire begins to warm, though it makes no sound yet. Steam has not risen, but the air nearby feels subtly changed, carrying the promise of warmth. You move back toward the hearth and stand for a moment, hands resting loosely at your sides, allowing the heat to reach you. Outside, snow continues its steady fall. You are only distantly aware of the drifting flakes falling beyond your door. Inside, the cottage holds its shape, unchanged and calm. You return to the pot and stir again, this time feeling the resistance shift slightly as the water warms. The herbs have begun to release their scent more fully, though it remains gentle, never sharp. The fire does not flare. It simply supports, glowing evenly beneath the pot. While the meal continues to cook, You find yourself drawn to small, quiet tasks that feel less like work and more like a way of moving with the evening. You lift a folded cloth from a nearby bench and refold it more neatly, smoothing the edges with your palm. You adjust a stool that has drifted slightly out of place, nudging it closer to the wall. Each movement is slow, almost absent-minded, guided more by habit than intention. The pot reaches a slow simmer, marked not by sound, but by a faint movement beneath the surface. You lower it just slightly, easing the heat so it continues gently. The fire accepts the change without complaint, settling back into its steady rhythm. Satisfied, you carry a simple bowl from the shelf to the table and place it beside the bread. A wooden spoon follows, its handle worn smooth. You sit, drawing the chair closer, though you wait before serving, allowing the moment to stretch. The cottage feels especially quiet now, as though it has turned inward with you. The firelight deepens as the sky darkens beyond the walls, shadows lengthening but never growing sharp. The window reflects a faint glow, a soft echo of the warmth inside. When you finally rise to serve the meal, the motion feels unhurried. You ladle the warmed mixture into the bowl, watching the steam lift gently before fading into the air. The bowl is warm in your hands as you carry it back to the table. You sit again and pause, breathing in the scent before tasting. The first spoonful spreads warmth, settling rather than stimulating. You eat slowly, each bite followed by a brief stillness. There is no thought beyond the simple act of eating, no need to plan or remember. The bread is dense and satisfying, torn rather than bitten, its texture grounding. You alternate between the two, allowing the warmth to build gradually. The fire continues its low murmur nearby, and the snow outside remains a distant presence, softened by sturdy walls. As you eat, time loosens its grip. Minutes pass unnoticed, marked only by the gradual cooling of the bowl and the quiet rhythm of breath. When the meal is finished, you sit for a moment longer, hands resting on the table, allowing the warmth to settle fully. You carry the bowl back toward the hearth and rinse it with a small amount of water, the motion slow and steady. The pot is lifted down and set aside to cool, its work complete for the evening. You wipe the spoon and place it neatly on the shelf, returning each item to its place without thought. With the tasks finished, the cottage feels even quieter, as though it has recognized the completion of the day's necessities. You return to the chair near the hearth and sit, this time allowing yourself to lean back fully. The fire has lowered slightly, its glow deeper and more even. You do not add wood now. There is no need. It will last comfortably into the evening. The warmth spreads slowly through your limbs, easing any lingering tension left from the day's movement. Outside, the snow continues, steady and unbroken. The village feels far away, its presence reduced to the idea of other lights glowing softly behind other windows. Inside, the cottage feels complete on its own. Your breathing slows without effort, matching the pace of the space around you. The chair supports you easily, and the floor beneath feels solid and unmoving. Firelight drifts across the walls in gentle patterns, never repeating exactly, yet never changing abruptly. There is nothing left to tend, nothing left to prepare. The meal has warmed you. The fire continues its quiet watch, and the world beyond the walls has settled into winter stillness. The evening stretches ahead, calm and unclaimed, held gently in the glow of the hearth while snow falls on, unnoticed and unimportant. The fire continues to glow steadily, its warmth settled deep into the stones and wood of the cottage. And for a while, you remain where you are, simply resting in the quiet that has grown fuller with each passing moment. Nothing calls for attention. The evening feels wide and unhurried, held gently between firelight and falling snow. After some time, you rise and move toward the window, drawn not by urgency, but by a soft curiosity. The glass is cool beneath your fingertips as you brush away a thin trace of frost from one corner. Outside, the village lies beneath a blanket of snow, its familiar shapes softened and reshaped by the steady fall. Roof lines blur into one another, hearths disappear beneath white, and the world seems quieter for it. Snow drifts down in slow, uneven patterns, some flakes catching the light briefly before fading into the darkness. Lanterns glow faintly along the road, their light muted and rounded by the snowfall. There is no movement to follow, no story unfolding beyond the gentle descent of snow itself. Watching it feels effortless, as though your thoughts have slowed to match its pace. You stand there for a while, breathing evenly, the warmth of the cottage pressing softly at your back. The cold beyond the glass feels distant and harmless, held firmly outside. The village appears peaceful in a way that feels rare and comforting, as though every home is also warm and cozy, each hearth offering the same quiet refuge. Eventually, you step away from the window and return to the table, where a small bundle rests near the edge. Inside, it is a simple gift you have been meaning to prepare. Nothing elaborate, just something made with care. The thought of it brings a gentle warmth of its own, the kind that comes from quiet intention rather than excitement. You untie the cloth and lay it open, revealing the item within. It is modest and practical, chosen not to impress, but to be useful and familiar. You smooth the cloth beneath it and take a length of twine from a nearby hook, measuring it with calm precision. Wrapping the gift becomes its own quiet ritual. You fold the cloth carefully around the item, creasing the edges with slow, deliberate movements. The twine is looped and tied without haste, each knot firm but gentle. When it is finished, the bundle feels complete, ready without needing embellishment. You set it aside on the shelf near the door, where it will be easy to take in the morning. The thought of carrying it through the village later feels distant and unimportant now, softened by the knowledge that it has been prepared and needs nothing more from you tonight. With that done, the cottage grows quieter still. The fire has lowered again, its flames smaller but steady, casting a deep, even glow. Shadows gather along the beams overhead, stretching lazily without shifting too much. The air feels heavier now, settled, as though it too is preparing for rest. You move through the space one last time, not to check or correct, but simply to acknowledge it. The table stands clear, the chair rests where you left it, the hearth holds its fire. Each thing seems content in its place. Near the sleeping area, you set out what you will need for the night. A candle is placed within reach, unlit for now. A folded blanket is shaken once and laid out, its weight familiar and reassuring. The act feels unremarkable, yet deeply grounding, like closing a circle. You wash your hands with cool water, the sensation brief and refreshing. Then dry them on a cloth that smells faintly of herbs and smoke. The contrast between cool and warm lingers for a moment before fading, leaving you comfortably aware of your body's quiet readiness for rest. When you return to the hearth, you take a moment to tend the fire just enough to ensure it will last through the night. You shift a log slightly, not adding more, simply settling what is already there. The flames respond by glowing a little brighter, then easing back into their steady rhythm. Satisfied, you let it be. The candle is lit briefly, its flames small and steady, adding a softer layer of light to the room. Firelight and candlelight mingle without competing, their glow gentle and low. The outside world feels very far away now, reduced to the faint awareness of snow continuing its patient fall. You sit once more, this time allowing your posture to soften completely. The chair supports you, the warmth holds you, and your breathing slows naturally. Each inhale feels full, each exhale unforced. Thoughts drift in and out without catching, like snowflakes passing a window. When you rise again, it is only to move toward rest. You extinguish the candle, watching the flame disappear without ceremony. The room darkens slightly, though the fire still offers enough light to guide you easily. You settle onto the bed, drawing the blanket over you. Its weight feels just right, neither heavy nor light, resting comfortably against you. The fire remains within view, its glow steady and reassuring. A quiet presence through the night. Outside, snow continues to fall, soundless and unseen. Inside, the cottage holds its warmth and stillness. The gift is prepared, the day is complete, and nothing remains unfinished. As you rest, the firelight dims slowly, shadows growing softer, movement fading to near stillness. The village sleeps beneath its blanket of snow, and within the cottage, warmth and quiet carry you gently onward, the night unfolding without need of attention or thought. You begin to drift into deep relaxation and further on into sleep, falling into dreams of pleasant things. For now you slumber, and tomorrow will bring a new day for you to enjoy in your snow-covered village.